Hi, it's Robin Sharma, and thanks so much for being here with me, and welcome to the Quantum Elevation Masterclass. Well, fasten your seatbelt because you're going to be in for quite a ride in this masterclass. We're going to go on a roller coaster ride of elite performance, exponential productivity, the science behind greatness, the neurobiology of iconic. We're going to get into the mindsets and the heart sets and the health sets and the soul sets of the most successful people on the planet. And I'm going to walk you through my famous brain tattoos. I'm going to walk you through some primary principles that all A performers are using every single day. I'm going to walk you through some of my absolutely best daily tactics, mechanics, routines, and rituals. So once you start installing these things, you'll get very quick results and traction on the ideas I share. So again, thanks for making the time to be here with me. And why should you be here with me? And why should you go through all of this masterclass and take great notes and turn off your devices and get monomaniacally focused on the information that I'm sharing with such an open heart and with such obsession to allow you and inspire you to live your absolute best? Well, because the world is in a very volatile place right now. Just look around, just watch the news. And I'm not going to encourage you to watch the news, but if you sort of pay attention or listen in on some of the news, the world geopolitically, the world economically, the world financially, the world societally is in a state of acute change, high velocity transformation, and true volatility. And these are very turbulent times. And so the best move you could possibly make is battle-proof your mindset. The best move you could possibly make is to learn how to fortify your greatness. I'm going to repeat that line. It just came to me, but it's so important. Fortify your greatness. Fortify your focus. Fortify your genius. Fortify your potential. Fortify your talent. Fortify your magnificence, fortify your future vision for the next 50 years so that when the rest of the world is falling apart or going through even more turbulence, you actually exploit the opportunity to build your audacity, a better lifestyle, and you'd serve the world in the process, because ultimately all leaders truly understand that to truly lead is to be of use. And so what I want to do for you in this masterclass is really help you own your game. And along with that, number two, build a lifestyle you adore and that your family or loved ones love. And number three, allow you and inspire you, and then to give you real world tools and tactics to go out there in the world and unlock ridiculous levels of value so you serve as many people as possible. When I was growing up, my father shared a quote with me from Rabindranath Tagore that really formed my own philosophy. And the quote repeated by my father went like this. He said, "Son, when you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced." He said, "Robin, live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice." And so what I'm really suggesting to you is this. This is an amazing day to go through all of this masterclass. Again, to delete your distractions, to bring on your A game and your focus, and to study the material, because most people are very light. They're not very rigorous. Very few people study anymore. They want all the great things, but they're not willing to do the work to get the great things. And if you want to get the great rewards of an iconic life, then it's important to study your craft. And so this masterclass is also about you studying the material, because no idea works unless you do the work. Okay, so with that, I wanted to read a poem by Charles Bukowski that is really going to give us the context for this elite performance and quantum elevation journey that is going to get you swiftly to your best. And the poem starts like this. Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. Beyond the watch, there are ways out. There is a light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Beyond the watch, the gods will offer you chances. Know them. Take them. You can't beat death, but You can beat death in life sometimes. And the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. Your life is your life. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight in you. Again, to give credit where it's due, that's a poem by Charles Bukowski, but it really speaks to something so profound, which is, the Chinese say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And today is a magnificent day to begin the journey of becoming a titan and an icon and an A producer and a legend in your craft. So the first piece I'm going to walk you through is how legends think. I'm going to share their mentalities and their mindsets and their focal points and their default beliefs. But before we get into what I call the 11 laws of legends that have helped my clients so much. So again, I really want to thank you for being here with me in the Quantum Elevation Masterclass. The world needs more heroes, and the very fact that you're here with me right now, rolling up your sleeves, challenging your limits, open to new ideas, ready to take action on what I share with you, shows me that you actually are honoring your heroic instincts. I don't think it's an accident you're here with me right now. Something deep within you, something instinctual, your highest nature, the best producer within you wants to fly. And if you're like most people, you might be busy being busy. But what's the point of being busy? These mountains during the best hours of your days, only to realize at the end of the quarter or the end of this year or the end of your lifetime that you gave your talent, your bandwidth, your focus, your energy, your passion, your integrity to the wrong things. And so I really do celebrate that you are here with an open mind and an open heart and hopefully an open spirit. And I promise you I'm going to share some of the most valuable content that I have offered, some of the most actionable ideas and insights and rituals that I know of, to help you really own that hero within you, to help you really understand more than ever before that, it doesn't matter what happened in the past. You are here with me right now. And all it takes is one new insight and then obviously execution around the idea when practiced over time to revolutionize your life. And it is such a seduction that geniuses are cut from a different cloth than you. The Picassos and the Kanyes, the Mandelas and the Elon Musks, the Richard Bransons and the Jean-Michel Basquiat's, the great athletes, the great painters, the great statesmen or stateswomen, the great humanitarians, the great violinists, those people were not different from you. I'm getting really famous around the world for my deconstructions. And if we were to deconstruct it together, if I was coaching you in real time, one-on-one in person, I would actually say, here's a brain tattoo. Genius is not about genetics. Genius is about mechanics. And then I would ask you to deconstruct it. And then you might say, wow, what does that really mean? And you might pull out your journal and do a mind map and say, Robin's brain tattoo is here, and write it out. Genius is not about genetics. Genius is about mechanics. And if you really wrapped your head around it, you'd understand what I'm suggesting, which is genius is not your natural talent. That is a myth that has been debunked by researchers and scientists, for example, like Anders Ericsson of Florida State University, who came up with the 10,000-hour rule that other authors have made very popular. But what he has really realized is he studied many great performers. He's realized the true legends were not more gifted. The true legend practiced deliberate practice. And then they found the right people to be around them. And then they studied their craft relentlessly, because it's such a myth that great people have easy lives. They have sacrificed like crazy. And they practice in a very deliberate way called deliberate practice. And we could deconstruct that idea, but all I'm trying to simply suggest to you is this. You have greatness inside of you. But if you're not installing the right mindsets, if you haven't practiced the right daily routines, if you haven't structured the right environments in your life, then you're not going to get genius level results if you're not doing genius level things. You know, Picasso, for example, was in a marketplace one day, and this woman ran up to him and she said, "Mr. Picasso, I'm such a huge fan. Could you do a little drawing for me?" So Mr. Picasso says, "Sure, why not?" He pulls out a little piece of paper and a pencil, and he does a drawing for the woman, and he hands it to her. And the woman looks at it and she says, "Mr. Picasso, amazing. You're a genius. You are a genius. You've got some divine talent because this is a masterpiece." And she starts walking away. Well, Picasso sees the woman walking away and he yells out, "Excuse me." And she says, "Yes." And he says, "My dear lady, could you come back for a second, please?" And she says, "Sure." And she comes back and he says, "My dear lady, that'll be $1 million. And she looks at him and she says, "Mr. Picasso, $1 million. It took you 20 seconds to do that." And he looked at her and he said, "Ah, my dear lady, it took me 20 years of focus, daily practice, and sacrifice to be able to do that masterpiece in 20 seconds. Genius is not about your genetics. Genius is about your practice. You have greatness inside of you. It is remarkable. You know, a key idea also to remember is most people really discount how much they can get done in a few months, but they overestimate how much they can get done in a day. And so all you need to remember is take the ideas I'm sharing with you and then write about them and think about them, meditate on them, journal about them, talk about them, because what you talk about gets amplified in your mindset and in your subconscious. And then more than anything else, every single day, while the world is being busy, watching dancing cats on the social media, looking at other people's highlight reels in terms of their breakfasts and where they're eating and who they're hanging out with, not really realizing that people are just showing you what they want. And a lot of people who look like they're living gorgeous lives are actually struggling. And you divorce yourself or separate yourself from the majority, and you start to play in the rare air of the minority, the true A players, and you start practicing these things every single day. Small daily improvements over time will lead you to stunning results, because the great companies, the great financial fortunes, and the great lives were not built by revolution, one big thing done on a Friday afternoon. The great empires, the great lives were built by steady iterations and optimizations when done consistently over time, created world-class results. Greatness, deconstructed, is less about revolution, like one big thing, one big act. Greatness and world-class and exponential results is much more about evolution. Small, seemingly insignificant or innocuous improvements, steps, practices done consistently every day over time will lead you to world class. So as I suggested, in case you're not familiar with my work, allow me please to share a little bit about my origin story. So I grew up in a very small town of about 2,500 people, and I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I've had very difficult seasons in my life, and I've had very bright seasons in my life. I guess that's the human journey, right? I mean, Haruki Murakami, who wrote one of my favorite books, I think it's called What I Think About When I Think About Running. But he's a Japanese novelist. And he said, the person you are when you come out of a storm is not the person you were when you went into the storm. That's the purpose of the storm. And I faced a lot of adversity in my life. I've been at the bottom of the mountain and I've been at the top of the mountain. When I was in school, I didn't really fit in. I just saw the world differently. I was highly creative. I trusted my instincts more than my intellect. I was happy to march to the beat of my own drummer. I liked being alone in my thoughts. I think you know what I mean. And you wouldn't be here right now if you weren't different from most people, if you didn't want more, if you didn't want to express more of your gifts and your talents and your creativity, if you didn't want more income and impact and to serve more people than to be an instrument of service to as many people as possible. The very fact you're here with me now means you are like me. You're a dreamer, and the world needs more dreamers right now, where a lot of people aren't really alive. There's no sparkle in their eye. They're cold. There's no passion. There's no heart. There's no humanity. There's no game. There's no creativity. There's no productivity. They're just in stagnation, checking their devices to get through the day. And so I had a grade 5 history teacher, and her name was Cora Greenaway. And she had these old spectacles with these little chains on them. But you know, she saw something in me that no one else had really ever seen in me. And she saw this spark of something that she told me was special. And she said, you know, you're intelligent and you're creative and you can do amazing things with your life if you apply your life. You know, being successful isn't easy, but it's the best move you can make, and it takes a lot of work. You know, all these things, society suggests to you everything is easy, you know, quick fix. Well, I'm not going to suggest that to you. I'm not about magical thinking. In this masterclass, I'm going to share at least 100 insights and ideas and tools and tactics. And I'm offering this to you at absolutely no cost, but then it's up to you to execute on them, because leadership and success is about implementation and execution. It's not about talking about what you're going to do. It's about doing what you said you're going to do. That's what makes greatness. And Cora Greenaway suggested that to me. And then I went through school, but people thought I'd never get into university. But I persisted. You know, there's a lot of great research. For example, Angela Duckworth from University of Pennsylvania. She's the preeminent thinker on this concept called grit. She studied, for example, West Point graduates. And the West Point graduates who were most successful versus the ones who didn't make it through training had one trait in common, and she calls it grit. I call it relentlessness. Other people call it persistence. Other pundits call it perseverance. But as I suggested to you, world class and genius is less about your natural talents, and one of the things it's about is, can you stay in the ring with your ambition and your vision longer than the world thinks you should stay in the ring? And that's why all visionaries are considered crazy. Why don't you give up? Why do you keep on going? Why do you want, you know, what did they say to Steve Wozniak? What did they say to Steve Jobs? What did they say to Elon Musk? What did they say to Branson? What did they say to Nelson Mandela? What did they say to Mahatma Gandhi? What did they say to Tesla? What did they say to Mozart? What did they say to Kanye? What did they say to Beckham? What did they say to Ali? What did they say to Federer? What did they say to Serena Williams? It just goes on and on. The history of humanity and outright greatness is an experiment and a lesson in relentlessness. And so I didn't give up. And I got into law school. Now, why did I become a lawyer? And I became a litigation lawyer. So why did I do that and then go on to get a master's of law? Why did I do that? Not because it was authentic, but because the world said if you become a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, you will be successful. But may I please ask you with great love and respect, what's the point of being successful in society and being a failure within yourself? And if you go right to the end of this masterclass with me, and you keep an open mind, and you keep away from those distractions, and when you feel like giving up, you keep on going. And when you get tired, you persist through this masterclass, because focus is a muscle. Learning is a muscle. How do you stretch your muscle? You go to your limits. Big idea there. How do you grow your muscles? You go to the jagged edges of your muscles until you tear them down so you rebuild them even better. That's how you build better biceps. That's how you become a better runner or a better boxer or a better yogi or a better swimmer or a better soul cyclist. You keep on going, you get tired, you reach your limit, and you keep on going until you break down so you break through. Well, that's what this masterclass is. I'm going to be challenging you, always with great love and respect. I'm giving you so many ideas already. I'm going to be disrupting your default beliefs. Stay with me to the end of this masterclass. It's like you're in a spin class or it's like you're in the gym. Stay with it even when you're tired, even when you feel like giving up, even when your focus wants to get distracted and you want to check your devices. Stay with me. This is how you build your muscularity, your bandwidth of your focus, your bandwidth of your training, your bandwidth of your courage, your bandwidth of your bravery. Stay with me through the whole class. And when you're finished, if you really want exponential results, watch the whole thing again. And you know what? Here's how the Titans play. They understand the power of learning. All it takes is one idea to change the game, one insight on how to maximize your focus or how to maximize your energy or how to disrupt your marketplace or how to own your craft in a world where a lot of people are playing victim at work every day. All it takes is one insight on the neurobiology of happiness, which we're going to get into towards the end of this masterclass. All it takes is one insight into how to triple your income and impact, which I'm going to teach you if you follow through this masterclass right to the end to change the game for you. So stay with me, keep on going, and stay true to your highest potential. And so I became a lawyer for all the wrong reasons. I became a lawyer to fit into society versus follow my heart, follow my instinct, follow my ambition. And what's the point of being successful if you betray yourself? That's not true success. Warren Buffett says it really well. There will never be a better you than you. Jack Welch of General Electric, one of our clients, said it beautifully. He said, don't lose yourself on the way to the top. And Oscar Wilde said it far more elegantly than I ever could when he said, be yourself. Everyone else is taken. And so I made a lot of money as a litigation lawyer, relatively speaking. I was successful in the world. A lot of people said, Robin, you're going to be a judge. I had a nice place to live. And so I looked like I was happy. I looked like I had a lot of great things. I looked like a true success, like a lot of people in the world right now. You know, that's their outer optics. And inside, their hearts are broken and they're falling apart. And I work with a lot of these people. I work with a lot of icons. And I get to know them very, very privately as their personal advisor. You know, some of the most well-known celebrity CEOs and entrepreneurs on the planet. And some of the people you think are incredibly successful are really struggling within. Okay? I mean, these are some of the people that I've worked with over the course of 1 or 2 years, one-on-one as their private advisor. And so what I decided to do was to pull back from the world and shift to the wilderness and start rethinking my life, recalibrating my mindset, digging deep into my heart set. I call them the 4 interior empires. You get the 4 interior empires right, the outer empires follow almost automatically. The 4 interior empires, your mindset. Everyone in this field talks about mindset as if it's the only thing. With all due respect, you can have a great mindset, you can think really positively, you can know your vision, you can install the right belief systems, but that's only 25% of the equation, I suggest to you. A mindset without a world-class open heart set is an empty victory. You have a great mindset and your heart is broken, or you're full of insecurity, your emotional life is a mess, you haven't forgiven the unforgiven, you're living in the past. How can you ever build a world-class company or a iconic career? How can you truly live a beautiful life? How can you truly make history if you've got a great mindset and a poor heart set? But it's not just the first empire, mindset, and the second interior empire, heart set. That's only 50% of the equation. Pretty interesting stuff, right? Pretty interesting information. You don't get this anywhere else, and I'm sharing it here with you with a spirit of service, with a mindset and heart set of generosity. But I only ask you, act on this material, because ideation without execution is a hallucination. And so I trust that you will act on this information, not because you should, not because you could. I'm going to really challenge you with great love and respect, because you must. This is your life. This is all you have. Before you know it, you're going to be at the end. The street sweeper gets buried next to the CEO, and all you will be is dust. Life is short. Act soon, today. You have to act on these ideas. Your greatness, your potential, your life depends on it. Your loved ones are depending on you. Your organization is depending on you. Your clients are depending on you. The world is depending on you. Like I said, don't wait for more heroes. That's what victims do. Say, you know what? I'm going to become one of them. Empire number 1, mindset. Empire number 2, heart set. Empire number 3, health set. Health set. You can have a great mindset, strong heart set full of a great emotional life, love, generosity, passion. But if the third empire, your health set is a mess, well, how can you get traction on your ambition? How can you get anything done if you know, one of my brain tattoos I've become really well known for on the social media is your energy is more important than your intelligence. It's not the most intelligence who wins. It's the one who has the most energy. So your health set, that's the third empire. You know, strong energy, strong fitness, strong health. You know, so you not only have lots of energy every day and full of, you know, and you have a strong brain to give you great ideas, but so you live long. I mean, here's a secret, don't die. All A players that I work with, my clients, understand that one of the keys to legendary is your longevity. I'm going to repeat that again because it's so important. One of the keys to legendary is your longevity. I think it was a French doctor who said, be strong not only to be strong to be of use. Whoa, that's pretty great, isn't it? Be strong not only to be strong to be of use. Be strong to serve humanity. Be strong so you live to 150. Imagine your income, imagine your craft, imagine the value you'll unlock for the world. Imagine your contribution to humanity if you have longevity. But that's the third piece, health set. So mindset, heart set, health set. Final piece, soul set. And I've created these 4 words as part of my work. I've been at this craft for 20 plus years. Mindset, heart set, health set, part of my work, part of my vocabulary, part of my teaching. At whether it's the Personal Mastery Academy or the Titan Summit, or maybe you've seen me from my podcast, the mastery sessions that many, many millions of people are watching every single day. Maybe it's from the social media. We have millions of people following me on Facebook, on my Facebook page, or maybe it's Instagram. Or maybe it's my new program you've probably heard so much about, Robin Sharma Nation, which is where I teach you these ideas and these insights and the tactics I'm going to be getting to and the routines of the icons and the A players so you double your income, triple your impact, find exponential productivity, become the most creative person you know, build a lifestyle you truly adore while you live a life that makes history. So you serve people in the process, so you are of use. So you're using what time, the remainder of your life on this planet to be a light in the world. You know, the world needs more light. The world needs more creativity. The world does need more heroes. The world does need more people who understand that they have genius inside them, and then they live it using the mindsets and the protocols and the routines and the hacks I'm going to share with you as we go through the rest of this masterclass called the Quantum Elevation Masterclass. That's why I say you must do this. So it's not only mindset, it's not only heart set, it's not only your health set. The final 25% of the 4 interior empires is your soul set. And what's your soul set about? It's about having the wisdom and the acumen and the bravery to say, you know what? I'm going to find a mighty mission that is larger than my own little ego self. And I'm going to give the rest of my life to that cause. You see, because until your business becomes your mission, your business will never become a movement. Another way to put it, until your vision becomes your obsession, your life will never make history. And Martin Luther King Jr. said it so beautifully. He said, until you have discovered something you're willing to die for, you're not fit to live. And if you look at all of the true titans on the planet, the true icons, the true legends, the true history makers, the true world builders, they all have one thing in common. They turned down their ego and they found a mighty mission to donate the rest of their life to. And that was one of the secrets to their passion. It wasn't about them. It was about their marketplace. It was about doing world-class work that ultimately influenced humanity. I love the idea. A bad day for the ego is a great day for your soul. I love the idea. Starve your ego. Feed your spirit. You know, and if you get hung up on this word spirit, all I'm talking about on this 4th interior empire, your soul set, is your true nature, your instinct. You know, as little kids, we were free. Little kids are so creative. Little kids have so much energy. Little kids are so authentic. You look at them in pictures, they're like this, laughing, making faces, looking like monsters, sticking their tongues out. Their eyes are full of light. They are sparkling. Well, adults are nothing more than deteriorated children. Powerful idea. When you were 2 or 3 years old, you were free. And then psychologists and social anthropologists, you know what they call it? They call it enculturation. You left the perfection and the innocence of childhood. You were pure. And then you learned the programming of your parents, well-meaning as they were, and sometimes not well-meaning. You learn the programming from school. You get the messaging from society and the media and your peers. And you develop a stained glass window over your once pristine and pure ability to see the truth. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. This is a life-changing insight I'm just offering to you with great love and respect, whether you appreciate it or not right now. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world through a perceptual filter based on all the programmings of your parents. If they said money doesn't grow on trees, be average, you're not good enough to be an icon, you're not smart enough, you don't look right. What do they tell you in school? Be like everyone else. Don't laugh too loud. Don't wear those shoes. Look at that shirt that you like. Sometimes people get bullied and beaten up for wearing the clothes or behaving according to their true nature. And life hurts us. You ask someone out and you get rejected. You pursue a dream, big or small, and you get knocked down and maybe a little bloodied. And that happens after you leave the beauty and the innocence of childhood and we start to close. You know, we start to close. It was a rainy day in my hometown 3 days ago. And I saw a woman holding an umbrella, and I stopped my vehicle to let her cross the street. And she scowled at me. The way she looked at me, she was upset. And this morning over my coffee, I deconstructed that experience in my journal. And what I realized is your relationship with other people is a reflection of your relationship with yourself. I'll give you another example. I was in a parking lot a few days ago and there was a gentleman. It was early in the morning. You might know me because I've become really, really well known around the world for the 5 a.m. club concept that I've been teaching for 2 decades, and the 20-20-20 formula that has helped literally millions of people create exponential productivity, really lead their fields, and live much more fulfilling lives. And I'm actually going to teach you the 20-20-20 formula in this masterclass. So I'm really excited for you. But what I'm trying to say to you is, I was up early in the morning and I was in this parking garage and I had parked my vehicle because I was going to get to the gym early, and I was paying for the parking pass, or that little parking ticket, and there's only one other person in the parking garage. And he was sitting in his car, and then he got out and he showed up at this parking box or whatever you call it to wait for me. And I said, good morning. Because I think, good manners are incredibly important. Especially in a world where, a lot of people don't really use please and thank you, and they're late versus early. And so I said, good morning. And this man in an empty parking garage, just me and another human being, he looked at me and he didn't even reply. And I give you those 2 scenarios: the woman who I tried to allow to go across the street, who scowled at me and then just looked the other way, and the man in the parking garage who didn't reply to me saying good morning with a smile on my face and an open heart. I don't take them personally anymore. And in my journaling deconstruction this morning, I simply realized people in pain can't behave in other ways aside from pain. Or I'll put it to you another way. Your behavior in the world is reflecting your interior state. I'll put it to you another way. Your relationship with everyone in your life, the people you work with, the people at home, your family members, your friends, strangers on the street, is reflecting your relationship with yourself. Your primary relationship is your relationship with yourself. That's where everything stems from. How can you serve humanity? Give 10x value to your customers. That's one of my concepts that I teach to my high-level clients, the 10x value obsession, to create fanatical followers and build a world-class brand. But how can you give to humanity? How can you shift from scarcity to generosity? How can you serve the world? How can you develop your teammates? How can you inspire your children or your loved ones? How can you give love to strangers, or kindness, which is a form of love, if inside you're not coming from a place of humanity because you've been closed by the hurts of the journey away from your childhood? You see, you once were pure. I once was pure. And then life starts to contract us and life smothers us and we get disappointed and we get hurt. And it's probably 1 in 50,000 people that know how to do the work required to keep their soul set open. Empire number 4, that final piece: mindset, heart set, health set, soul set. Words I am introducing in my work. After 20 plus years of dialing in these words, deconstructing these ideas, and working with titans and icons and many of the Fortune 500 to see the results they're getting in business, in their productivity, in their creativity. Our clients include Starbucks, just to show you this is real world information I'm sharing with you with an open heart and an open mind in this masterclass. Our clients include Starbucks, the Coca-Cola Company, General Electric. I've worked with Microsoft. I've worked with many of the world's top banks. I've worked with entrepreneurs. NBA superstars show up at my events. film stars follow my work. John Bon Jovi has read my book. You might have heard of my book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. And in an interview, he said it was, I think, his favorite book, but definitely the book that changed his life. Taylor Swift has read my book, Who Will Cry When You Die. Many of the elite of finance and entrepreneurship and business have read my famous book that's going on close to 15 years old, called The Greatness Guide. And again, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, you might have heard about it. My books have sold, and I simply say this to show you that my work is getting traction in business with entrepreneurs across multiple cultures, multiple industries. But my books have sold over 15 million copies. So the information I'm sharing with you works for real people. But you know what? Let's be honest here, as I always want to be. No idea works unless you have the bravery to do the work. And if you look at the science, especially the research of University College London, they will share with you that it takes 66 days to install the neural pathway of a new habit. And so most people will watch this masterclass, and they will maybe try the ideas for a day, maybe 2 days, maybe a week, maybe a month. But how can it work if you don't stay with the work long enough for the work to become an automatic habit? Again, 66 days of daily practice on the skill you want to install until it becomes a habit. And University College London calls the point that you reach after 66 days automaticity. I call it the automaticity point. And at that point, the new skill that I'm teaching you, all these different ideas that you're going to be practicing, especially when we get into the daily routines of the billionaires and the A players and the titans and the most creative producers on the planet. 66 days of practicing the ideas with utter consistency until you reach a point of automaticity. Okay? Consistency will lead to automaticity. And at that point, after roughly 66 days, it becomes easier to do the new habit than not to do the new habit. It becomes easier to do the new habit than not to do the new habit. It becomes automatic because that's what habits are. Here's something to think about. All change is hard at first, it's messy in the middle, and it's gorgeous at the end. All change is hard at first. If it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be real change. It's supposed to be hard. You're disrupting your emotional architecture. You're reinstalling and dismantling old beliefs. You're installing new rituals. If you look at the neurobiology, you're actually setting up new neural pathways. And the more you practice the neural pathway over and over of a single skill, it's like the basketball player or the hockey player or the football player or the painter. Every day he or she is going in and practicing. And that neural pathway is like a grassy field. And the more you walk the grassy field, the more it becomes a road. And if you keep on doing it and you pave it, it becomes a highway. And if you optimize it consistently, ridiculously, over days, months, years, and a lifetime, it becomes a super highway. It's a neural super highway if you were to get into the neurobiology of it. You actually trigger a brain cell called an oligodendrocyte. You have it in you. That's what I'm saying. Science is confirming. You have genius in you. It's a type of brain cell. It only gets activated when you isolate a skill. So if you're trying to be distracted and be great at a million things, you're never going to get that super highway. But if you focus on one skill, maybe it's leadership, maybe it's your business vision, maybe it's being a world-class footballer, maybe it's being a great painter, maybe it's being the best cellist in your nation, maybe it's being the best coder in your industry. I don't know. But I do know that if you try to be all things to all people, and if all you're doing all day is checking your social feed and being distracted because you're escaping from your greatness, you're never going to rise to world class and install the neurobiology, that neural pathway that then triggers an oligodendrocyte, which produces a fatty tissue. You see how powerful this is? This is the science. And the fatty tissue is called myelin, and it starts to wrap around the superhighway. This is the neurobiology of greatness. Here in this masterclass, I've deconstructed it and simplified it. You practice the skill 66 days. You keep on going. If you do it with consistency, it becomes automatic. You do it every day. The weeks slip into months. The months slip into years. Everyone else is distracted. People are chasing these shiny toys. You get knocked down. You get back up. Thank you for the work of Angela Duckworth. Grit. You get knocked down. You get back up. The Chinese say get knocked down 8 times. Get up 9. And you keep on going. And you do it over a lifetime, or at least decades, or at least months, certainly years. Then you trigger oligodendrocytes, which wrap myelin around the superhighway, which accelerates your learning, which allows you to see things other people can't see. And myelin, I believe, is the DNA of genius. Steve Jobs wasn't a genius. No. All he did was focus on his few ambitions with a monomaniacal concentration, and he spent a lot of time in isolation, like every genius. Steve Wozniak was at the Titan Summit in Zurich, and I got to tell you, one of the smartest people I've ever met, one of the hardest working people I've ever met, and one of the most kind people I've ever met. And I know from our conversations backstage, he's a gentleman. And he spent a lot of time isolating himself, thinking, tinkering, working on his craft. On the Titan Summit stage in Zurich, what did he say? He said, you know, I wanted to be the best coder. I wanted everyone to come to me because I love doing it. And I wanted to be known as a great coder and a great technician and a great engineer. And so all I'm simply saying is you have the hardwiring in terms of your neurobiology and your physiology and your psychology to be a true legend. And if you want to go deeper on this after this masterclass, then do yourself a favor and get a membership into Robin Sharma Nation so you work with me in this program every single month and learn these ideas. I mean, you can't do it alone. The best NBA superstars, they all have coaches. The best football players, they all have coaches. I'll tell you one thing, the top entrepreneurs, the billionaires, they all have coaches. I work with a lot of these entrepreneurs. I work with the icons. I work with the best of the best. I am the advisor and influencer to a lot of NBA superstars, a lot of NFL players, a lot of famous musicians and rock stars, a lot of these true A players. And these people all understand that you have to have a coach. I learned this from Warren Buffett. The ordinary person focuses on cost. The extraordinary producer focuses on the value that you get. So if you're a victim and say, well, I'm not going to invest in Robin Sharma Nation, or I'm not going to invest in reading, I'm not going to invest in going to a conference every quarter, I'm not going to invest in my growth, I'm not going to invest in my learning, that costs a lot of money. Well, people who talk like that, and I say this with great love and respect, and I'm just speaking truth here, that's why they're stuck. That's why they're not owning their crafts. That's not why they're making the incomes that they want. That's not why they're serving humanity. That's why they're so empty inside that they need to escape the pain of potential unexpressed through too much alcohol, too much gossiping, too much TV, too much apping, too much napping, too much video gaming, too much gossiping, too much excuse citing, too much doing nothing. And that's a lot of humanity right now. They were born into greatness. I've shared some of the neurobiology, but they're not executing or implementing their greatness. James Flynn is an American psychologist. He has a term called capitalization. He says the best athletes and the best performers all capitalize. They exploit whatever talent they have. The best boxer isn't the one with the best reach and the tallest and the strongest. The best boxer is the one who shows up at the gym at 4 a.m. and does the work, not once a month, every single day. What's important isn't what you do once a month. What's important is what you do every single day, because your days are your life in miniature. Take care of each day. Own each day. create greatness each day, small daily improvements each day, you're pretty much guaranteed a great life if you do it with consistency. Because consistency will lead you over time to legendary. So I've been sharing some really, really potent insights, and I've sort of walked you through some of the neurobiology. And this is how greatness play. If you look at the geniuses, they all had these things in common. They isolated themselves, they loved growing, they invested in their learning. The best producers all really do have coaches because you can't do it alone. And so you can spend the rest of your life trying to figure it out and stumbling towards your greatness. Or you can roll up your sleeves and say, I want to learn. I'm tired of playing small with my talent. And you can start doing the work required because this is not a magic fix. And I'd love to help you. I mean, I'm sharing this information to help you. And like I say, walk through all of the material in this masterclass and watch it many times and then deconstruct the ideas I'm sharing in your journal. Like I said, I've become really well known for this whole idea of deconstructing in your journal, deconstructing through conversation, taking a simple idea and going granular through the layers of the simple idea so you really understand all the core elements and the layers of the idea. Why? Because then you'll have heightened levels of awareness. If you look at the A players, they're not superficial, they're rigorous. They're not simple, they're deep. You talk about any craftsperson, you talk to them, they won't just go, yeah, I go to work and I do this. Well, how do you do this? I don't know. Who's the best in your field? I don't know. How do the Titans play? I don't know. What's the best book you've read? I don't know. What are your visions and your mighty mission for the next quarter or the next year? I don't know. You talk to the top 5%. See, the 95%, very vague. They don't work on themselves. They don't invest in their learning. They don't deconstruct their ideas at the end of the week, for example. Like, why was it a good week? Why did I have more energy? What did I do right? What can I optimize? The 95%, they don't realize they're escaping. They're just busy being busy. They're distracted. But they do know the best TV shows and what's going on in the news. And they do know the latest app. And they do know the celebrity gossip and what the Hollywood movie star did at her yoga class or his yoga class. And they're wondering why they're not productive. They're wondering why they're not happy. Do you know how happy you will get when you live this material and you respect your potential? That's a grand act of self-honoring, saying, I'm built for genius. I can lead my field. I have greatness within me. I can build a beautiful life, not just for myself, but for my loved ones so they find freedom and happiness. And I'm going to change the world or inspire the world in the process. That is the secret of happiness. It's not what society is selling you. You know, find the right app, get busy being busy, hang out with the cool crowd. The top 5% are so different. You know, one of the models that I teach in Robin Sharma Nation is the gargantuan advantages of the top 5%. And if you were to deconstruct the 95%, they make excuses. They're on their devices a lot of their days. They don't say please and thank you. They sleep too much. They see their job as a job, not a craft. They don't spend a lot of time studying. They don't see the happiness and the fun and the value of growing and learning. But I call it the 2x, 3x mindset. It's part of my work. It's helped so many of my high-level clients fly in their professional lives, in their financial lives, in their creative lives, in their personal lives, in their social lives. The 2x, 3x mindset to double your income and your impact, triple your investment in two core areas, your personal mastery and your professional capability. Top 5% are so different. You know, sometimes my clients, they say, you know, people say to me, why do I work so hard? Why don't you have fun? Well, the top 5% see their work as fun. The top 5% planning their weeks or planning their months in intimate detail, with great intimacy and fluency. They see it as fun. I run a very high-level coaching program called Icon X. Very limited. I only let in a handful of people every single year. And we did a recent event in New York City. And one of the icons in the room, super successful entrepreneur, said, you know, this is really fun. Planning our week is fun. Planning the month is fun. Planning the rest of our lives is fun. And so the top 5%, these are the gargantuan advantages. They see planning and sequencing as fun. They see deconstructing your winning formula as fun. They love their work because it's their craft, and they grow as people, and they serve their marketplace. And few things feel as good as being BIW, best in world at what you do. And they see reading as fun, and listening to great podcasts as fun, and running at 5 a.m. in the morning, or Soul Cycle at 6 o'clock as fun, and being great with their family lives and being better listeners as fun, and being generous to strangers in a world where a lot of people are cold and contracted as fun. I know you get what I'm meaning, but to get the results only 5% of the population alive today have, you've got to be willing to do what only 5% of the population is willing to do. And that's why you're here with me in this masterclass. That's why I applaud you. That's why I honor you. You're doing the right thing. And like I said before, you must do this work. You must watch this masterclass to the end, I say with great love and respect. You must watch it a few times. You must deconstruct the ideas in your journal. You must act on the ideas because, as I said, ideation without execution is delusion. The job of a victim versus the job of a leader versus a victim is implementation, not chatter. Too many people talk about what they're going to do. Too many people, here's the business I'm going to do. Here's the life I'm going to create. Here's my health that I'm going to have. Here's the longevity. It's just chatter. They're just talking. And they've practiced chattering so much, they're world class at chatter. If you practice chattering or making excuses or complaining or playing with your devices for 10,000 hours, according to the work of Anders Ericsson, as I shared with you, Florida State University, you'll become best in the world at complaining or escaping or distracting. And that's why you must do this. It's not for me. You must, because this is your life. This is your potential unfulfilled. That's why you're here with me. This is, every time you get distracted, it's costing you income. Every time you check your phone for a notification, it's costing you bandwidth. All you have every morning is your bandwidth, your focus and your energy and your talent and your time. Again, I deconstruct these in my more advanced work. I call them the 5 peak performance assets. Your mental energy, your mental focus, your physical energy, your willpower, your time, and your talent. We could spend a whole hour, 2 more hours deconstructing your bandwidth, the 5 peak assets, your mental focus, your physical energy, your willpower, your time, and your talent. And then I teach you the protections. And if you like what I'm teaching you and you want to go a lot deeper, then at the end of this masterclass called the Quantum Elevation Masterclass, do yourself and the remainder of your life and your unmet potential and your unfulfilled income and your unrealized impact on the world, do yourself a favor and get a membership into Robin Sharma Nation, because I just want to help you. I want to teach you this information, and then I want to work with you every month for however long you want to be with me, because I want to earn your trust. I want to earn your value. I think you're a smart person, otherwise you wouldn't be here with me right now. And you can tell already in the however long you've shared with me in this masterclass, the depth of the value that I'm giving to you at absolutely no cost. I'm sharing the insights, the science, the research, some of the models some of the tactics, the 20-20-20 formula, which I'm going to be sharing with you in this masterclass, that I've been teaching and crafting and refining for 2 decades. And a lot of my students are now teaching some of this material. So if you want to learn this material at a whole new level, at an accelerated level, and then work with me every single month so you implement it and so you integrate it, so it becomes your default, the mindsets of the icons, default, the heart sets of the A players, default, the health sets of the elite athletes, which I'll teach you in Robin Sharma Nation, default, and the soul sets of the true legends of humanity, then I'd love to serve you and I'd love to work with you over time. And that's really what Robin Sharma Nation is all about. Okay? And you'll find information on how to get one of the limited memberships below. But let's keep on going in this masterclass so I give you a ridiculous amount of value to help you create some exponential gains in the way you're living your life. Okay, well, I really want to give you an ovation, a virtual ovation, for getting to this point in the masterclass. I've already shared a wealth of insights with you. I've shared a lot of ideas with you. Hopefully I've challenged you, always with great love and respect. And I also want to celebrate you because I believe greatness belongs to the learners. I believe all it does take is one idea or an insight executed on with consistency over time to revolutionize the way you play the game. So what I want to do right now is I want to walk you through the 11 laws of legends. And let's get right into the first one. You can be a victim or you can be a titan. You can't be both. And as you've heard me say a little earlier, every day when you walk out in the world, you do have one primary choice. You can be a victim or you can be a titan. You just don't get to do both. And you can spot a victim a mile away. They say things like, well, that's easy for you, but I can't do it. They make all of these excuses. You know, they say things like, I don't have enough time, or that wouldn't work for me. Or Robin, your work only applies to very successful people. Wow, that's a really great excuse to make so you don't have to do anything. You know, and the reality is my work has worked for people who were struggling, people who had nothing. You know, you can just do your own research and check out the comments on my social feeds and you'll see this is the real deal. But it's a great excuse to say that book wouldn't work for me because it only works for CEOs. It only works for people from this country. It only works for people with a silver spoon in my mouth. You know, I saw a comment by one person, I can't come to one of your events because I would have to cross oceans. Wow, that's interesting. I mean, it's a plane ticket. And if you save up money and you cut back on things that we all sometimes can spend money on, you can save up for a plane ticket. I hope I'm making sense here, but I just see so many people making excuses, right? They're saying, I can't learn because of this. I can't get fit because I'm employed. Someone said to me recently, they said, well, I'll get up early and exercise first thing in the morning as you've been teaching people for so many years when I get a better job that doesn't make me so exhausted. And I'm saying this with great respect, but if you install the 5 a.m. protocol that I teach, by 6 o'clock, you will be so on fire because you've created a pharmacy of mastery within your brain by releasing dopamine, the inspirational neurotransmitter, reducing cortisol, the fear hormone that is highest in the morning, releasing serotonin, the pleasure chemical, that by increasing your metabolic rate, that by 6 o'clock, you'd be on fire. And if you did it consistently over days, weeks, months, and years, you would retrain your brain, your neurobiology, and your metabolism to be on fire. And all of the titans and A players and icons and super producers, they all understand one thing. Fitness and exercise really is a game changer, a life shifter. All I'm saying is we all have our own excuse. I'm no guru. I'm no different from you. The first chapter of my book, The Greatness Guide, was I'm no guru. I'm no guru. I love the idea. Everyone seems normal until you get to know them, right? So we all have our things to work on. But one thing I do know is law for legendary number one. You can be a victim or you can be a titan. You don't get to do both. And if all you do every day is make excuses and play a victim, and if you repeat your excuses so many times, I don't have enough money for this course. I don't have enough time for this fitness. I'm not smart enough to lead the field. I'd have to cross oceans to go to a learning event. This material doesn't work. Or here's another excuse. I tried it for a week and nothing changed. That's like a soccer player saying, I went to practice for a week and I didn't win the World Cup. That's like an artist saying, I went to the studio for a month and I'm not Picasso. That's like an entrepreneur. That's like Steve Jobs or Richard Branson saying, I stayed with my enterprise for 8 days and I didn't get traction in my industry. I guess my ambition is a hallucination. You see, again, it is such a seduction that people who are great at what they do and who live gorgeous lives had it easy. Most of those people worked monomaniacally on their practice. They isolated themselves for their craft. Yes, they have balance. In my work, I subscribe to life balance. And I teach a system called the weekly design system that actually ritualizes balance into your days. But my point is, a lot of your time, if you want to be world class, will be spent on your game, on your craft. The root of the word passion is to suffer. All icons suffer for their craft. They get up early, they practice, they get bloodied, they get knocked down, they get laughed at, they get ridiculed, they get back up. They're filled with self-doubt. When they hit a wall, they feel like putting up the white towel. They keep on going. World class is a messy sport. Are you in it? If you're not, if you're looking for easy, then if you're looking for easy, and I say this with a lot of love and respect, and I know you don't, but I'm just trying to make a point here. Press the pause button. My work is not for you. But if you want real world information, real world tactics, real world messaging, tools and mechanics that really create ridiculously powerful results, if you do the work, then let's keep going. And I just want to say one thing. Law of legendary number one on excuses. Also, here's a key idea. If you repeat your excuses long enough, you actually reprogram your subconscious mind to believe they're true. See, a lot of our beliefs are just the words we use. And if you talk like a victim versus a titan, and talk like a victim all day long, I'm sick, here's why I can't do it, I hate this would never work, that doesn't make sense, I can't get up early, here's the reason I don't have enough money, it's because of my city, it's because of my country, it's because of this industry. That's just victim speak versus leader talk. And if you talk victim speak every single day, your words are powerful, your words are potent. I'm a fanatic about words. When people swear, I try to avoid it. Words have power. Words are what uplift nations or destroy cultures. You want to get your words right. That's another conversation we can have in the future. All I'm simply saying is if you repeat your excuses long enough, well, that's why you've reprogrammed your mindset, your conscious mindset, and your subconscious to have these beliefs. And then if you do it long enough, you become world class at being a victim and you don't even know it. And everyone around you can see it when you're saying all these things. Well, here's why I can't get fit, and here's why I can't get up early, and here's why I could never be best in the world at what I do. Here's why I don't have the love life I want. Here's why I don't have the health I want, etc., etc., etc. You actually think it's true, the victims. And yet the people who have done the work on their own excuses and who have done the work on their 4 interior empires that I mentioned earlier, mindset, heart set, health set, soul set, Those people can actually, they have the awareness, the consciousness to see, uh-oh, there's a victim running their victim story. Heidi Grant Halverson is a positive psychologist who is gaining a lot of eminence, and she says, your story about your potential determines whether you live your potential. Very powerful idea. I'm going to repeat it again. Let me use my words here. Your narrative about your place in history determines your place in humanity. If you don't think you can be the genius of your field, then you're not going to listen to the rest of this masterclass. You're not going to read my books. You're not going to follow me on the social media. You're not going to make the choice that will change the rest of your life and get a membership into Robin Sharma Nation. And by the way, if you don't want to, it's absolutely fine with me. It's absolutely fine. I just want to help you. I just want to teach you the information I've spent 2 decades plus teaching to the titans, teaching to the icons. I want to. This is my life. I don't know how long I get to live. I want to serve. I want to give. I mean, it breaks my heart to see people in the world right now giving away their power, putting geniuses up on a pedestal, putting the A players up into some special orbit, but saying, oh, I just live in this country and I'm just an ordinary person and I can't do this and here's why not. These are just excuses because it happens in school and then society teaches you and then your parents teach you and then your friends teach you if you're in the wrong peer circle. Read the book, Connected, by the way, by Nicholas Christakis from Harvard. Game changer on the power of your social circle. And my point is then we repeat our excuses so many times, we think we're average, and then the claws of mediocrity take us over and we shut ourselves down versus stay true to ourselves. And we coast out the rest of our lives with broken hearts, resigned to average health, average happiness, average income, average impact, average joy, average curiosity, average productivity, average friends, average loved ones, average service to the world. And that breaks my heart. And that's why I want to teach you this material. And that's why I mention Robin Sharma Nation, because it'll give you 10 times the value of your investment. And I want to help you, but you have to help yourself here. And if you repeat your excuses all day long, you're going to be brilliant at excusitis. And you're going to think it's all real. Law of legendary number 2, I mentioned it. No idea works unless you do the work. Less talk, more do. The job of a leader is implementation versus simply innovation and ideation. I don't think I need to say much more. Take the ideas that I'm sharing with you and act on them. And do it when it's easy and do it when it's hard. Do it on your sunny days. Do it in your wintry seasons. Because that's what the best do. Because consistency is the mother of mastery. And I promise you, if you stay with these ideas and execute them and implement them every single day until you rebuild your interior core, like a Roman warrior, like Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Roman emperors, who his book is Meditations. I read it all the time. You're going to rebuild and reset your interior core if you do this work that I'm sharing with you every single day. Of course, you're going to win. You can't help but be victorious as you go through your life. I think it's obvious. Law of legendary number 3. All change, I mentioned it, all change is hard at first, it's messy in the middle, and it's gorgeous at the end. That brain tattoo has helped my high-level clients so much. I'm going to repeat it again. All change is hard at first, it's messy in the middle, it's gorgeous at the end. Because, see, all habits, all change go through 3. If I was sharing one of my mental models with you that I teach, just imagine 3 transitions of habit installation. Well, all change is hard at first. That's installation number 1, the first roughly 20 days of the 66 days of habit installation, according to the research of University College London. 66 days to install a new habit. Part number 1 of habit installation is dismantling or disruption of your old habits. Okay, it's really destruction. Destruction is phase number 1 of habit installation. All change is hard at first. You're actually destroying your old habits. Your old actual neurobiological hardwiring is being disrupted. Your emotional architecture is being torn down. Of course, change is going to be hard at first. There's nothing wrong. There's everything right. Okay, all change is hard at first, messy in the middle. Now you're in the middle 20 days of the 66 days. Of course, it's going to be messy. You're going to be exhausted because you're installing new emotions. You're letting go of fear. You're installing bravery. You're letting go of old beliefs. Victim. You're now thinking like a titan. You're learning new rituals and routines. The 5 a.m. club, the 20-20-20 formula, the 1991 rule is one of the rituals that I teach. The 60-minute student is another one of the routines that I teach. The 2 massage protocol is another one of the weekly rituals that has helped my high-level clients so very much. Traffic University, another one of my protocols. You see, when you install these things in the middle, it's messy because before maybe you were sleeping too much, maybe you were complaining, maybe you were watching the news, maybe you were hanging around with other victims. I just have to say this right now because I know this is going to land on you. You can't get to world class with toxic people around you. I'm going to repeat that again. You cannot get to a world class career and an A-game life with toxic people around you. Have the bravery, the confidence, the self-honoring, and the self-love to let go of the people in your life who are energy vampires. They are destroying your creativity, your potential, your productivity, your income, your impact, your service to the humanity. I'll put it to you this way. You can be around toxic people or you can change the world. You do not get to do both. You just don't. Final piece of the 3 transitions of habit installation. The first piece is destruction. The second piece, you know what it's about? Installation, destruction, installation. The final 20 days of the 66 days to install a new habit. This is the fun part, optimization. It's now starting to feel a lot more familiar. All change is hard at first. It's messy in the middle. It's gorgeous at the end. The new mindsets, the new heart sets, the new emotions, the new routines, they're starting to sink in. You know, I'm falling in love with Soul Cycle. You've probably heard about it. It's a spinning class. And I remember the first time I went in, and just like do yourself a favor. And I don't get anything, of course, from Soul Cycle. You know, that's not the way I play. I'm just telling you about Soul Cycle because it's really helping me a lot. And so the first time I went to Soul Cycle, there were so many different things coming at me. I went to the locker. I forgot which locker I was in because I was thinking about the class. So I forgot the number. I also had to remember what bike I was on. Okay, I'm on bike number 48. And then I got into the room. There were all these other people. They looked so fit. And then I didn't know how to put the shoes in the pedal. I didn't know how to move the seat up. I didn't know how to move the handlebars forward. I was total dork. You see, because change is hard at first. And then I started going to more Soul Cycle classes. And I stopped forgetting where my locker was. First time I went, I was looking around and I had to try the code, my personal code on probably 20 lockers. And I looked like a total nerd, but you know, being laughed at or being judged or feeling like a fool is the price of elevating your game, isn't it? And it doesn't just happen at your first Soul Cycle class or your first 5 Soul Cycle classes. It happens at your first yoga class. It happens at your first few months in a relationship, your first few weeks on a job, your first few quarters on a new skill. This is the process of growth. And so if I was to show you one of my mental models, it's the 3 phases of habit installation, and I'm repeating it because it's so transformational. And maybe this is so new to you, and maybe already you're feeling overwhelmed because I've shared probably 200 different insights. But when you get everything at once, it just seems overwhelming, so you say it's too much. Stay with this. It's like Soul Cycle. As I went to more classes, it went from destruction and difficulty to the second phase. It was messy. And then now I'm at phase number 3, optimization, because all change is hard at first and it's messy in the middle and it's gorgeous at the end. And if you stay with Soul Cycle or yoga or this masterclass by watching it over and over and over, or any skill, you'll go from messiness and destruction to the middle part, which is the real mess, to optimization, where it gets easy. And once you master that skill, you move on to the next skill. And that's the process of really moving towards legendary. That's a really, really important point. I'll give you another metaphor. It's like when you read a book. There are some books I've read the first time I read it, I said, oh, this is so simple, because I didn't understand the material deeply enough to understand the value of the insights. That's a key idea. I said, oh, I read this book. It's simple. Wow. Why is everyone reading this? Why is everyone saying it's so amazing? The 50th time I read, let's say, Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach, or Hope for the Flowers, or As You Think by James Allen, what a book. Or Buffett, The Making of an American Capitalist, what a great book. Or the Steve Jobs biography by Walter Isaacson, what an amazing book. Or The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. Once I've read these books 3 or 4 times and then lived the ideas for a few months or years, I go back to the books and I go, these books are transformational. It's not that the book changed, it's that I changed. My consciousness changed. My awareness changed. My wisdom changed. My craft changed. I think that's a very profound idea. There will be some people who watch this masterclass and say, I've heard it all before. Simple ideas. Sometimes people come to Personal Mastery Academy, my 2-day live elite performance program. If you haven't experienced the material, and if you're not really familiar with personal mastery or leadership or exponential productivity or being a titan or the neurobiology of greatness, all of these things that I teach, if these are all new to you, then it's very easy to say, well, it's all simple, because really that person who makes that comment doesn't understand the nuances. They don't understand the insights. I'll put it to you this way. We've all been to Las Vegas, where we see a Las Vegas performer. And it's very easy to fall into the trap of saying, that person is an icon or a legend. I could have done that. Well, my friend, I say this with an open heart. That person on the Las Vegas stage, or that person on the World Club field, or that person on the music stage, or that person who won the Oscar, many of them have spent decades in anonymity, 20 years of anonymous, for them to get on the stage and make it look that simple. And so this masterclass, the ideas might sound simple. Keep on going through it. Keep on studying this masterclass over and over and over. Keep on studying the material. So you go through the layers, just like me when I read those books I mentioned. And I offer those books because those are the books that some of the books that have helped me. I adore reading. I think a house full of books is a gorgeous house. And those books seem simple. And then once I read it for the 10th time or the 15th time, the book was genius. And I literally, on one page, like I'm going through rereading the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, and I'm literally deconstructing sentences. There's one paragraph early on in the book where he talks about the shortness of life and that we're all going to be worms. And literally, I circle the words. And as I mentioned, a lot of people come to me just for my deconstructions and my deconstruction tools that I teach to my high-level clients. And literally, I circle the paragraph and I start my deconstruction of the words and the sentences. Okay, let's go through the layers and deeper into the insights. And one paragraph in Meditations of Marcus Aurelius has given me probably 10 pages of mental models and deconstructions on how the Roman warriors think, what the game is all about, the shortness of life. And then we could deconstruct the shortness of life, which is, you know what, at the end, no one really remembers us. So how can we be great at our craft now so we help people? How can we model possibility? I'm losing my voice a little bit because this is deeply into the masterclass for you, but I'm willing to keep on going because that was my promise to you. So please forgive my voice getting softer, but my heart is full of the instinct to serve, and my energy is strong. So if you're with me and you're going to turn up your listening and turn up your note taking and turn up your openness, I'm going to keep on going. So law number 4 is every visionary was first ridiculed before they were revered. Law number 4 of the legends. Every visionary was first ridiculed before they were revered. I want you to take a moment and I want you to think about that right now. I want you to think about the great ones. You know, one of the reasons they were great is they had a vision. They had massive ambition. They wanted to change the world. Apple said it really well. The only people who change the world are the ones who think they can. No one's going to believe in you until you believe in you. And so law number 4 is every visionary was first ridiculed before they were revered. The very nature of being a visionary means you are going to disrupt the status quo. You're going to disrupt society. Look, the idea of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, the idea of Uber, Travis Kalanick, the idea of Apple, Steve Jobs, and my friend Steve Wozniak, the idea of an iPhone or a computer or an app or the internet or a car. You know, Henry Ford said it really well. He said, you know, if all I did was iterate, well, he didn't, these aren't his words, but it was basically, if all I did was look at what everyone else was doing, I would have built a faster horse carriage. And so if you look at all great acts of humanity and possibility, they came from a woman or a man. Jonas Salk, Mother Teresa. You look at all the great women entrepreneurs. You look at a Serena Williams. You look at whoever it is. Maybe it's a Beyonce. You look at all of the great ones. They all had to withstand the rocks of their critics and their cynics on their pathway to world class. And that's why my loving and respectful challenge to you is, as you live this material, and hopefully as you go deeper with me on this journey through my work, so I can work with you, because I would love to. I want to teach you how to battle-proof your mindset, your heart set, your health set, your soul set. I want to teach you how to bulletproof your interior core, what I call your interior empire, which is the DNA of your outer empires of productivity, creativity, income, impact. So that you literally take the rocks people throw at you, because you are a visionary within your own life, and you construct them into monuments of possibility that will ultimately make history. And like I said on this law number 4, which is every visionary was first ridiculed before they were revered, to have the results only 5% of the population has, you've got to be willing to do what 95% of the world won't do. Stop being addicted to distraction. Shift from scarcity to generosity in the value you unlock in your marketplace. Really get serious about your personal development and your professional education. Get up early to practice your craft and to get fit. Be more interested in learning versus leisure. Get up when you get hurt and discouraged. Do the rituals like keeping a journal, meditating, scripting your days. I call them high-performant daily scripts. You got to do these things that only 5% of the population are willing to do. Let me go, even things like being on time or early. I really believe I'd rather be an hour early than a minute late. But only 5% of the population thinks like that. I'd rather turn off my devices, I call them 0 device days, and isolate myself for pristine periods of chunked time so that literally I create a pharmacy of mastery. The scientific term is called transient hypofrontality, and I teach it in my more accelerated work. But you've got to install the mindsets and the heart sets and the structures of the top 5% to get the results. Okay, that brings me to law of legends number 5, which is a job is only just a job if you see it as a job. The top 5% don't see their work as work, they see it as their craft. And I want to make the point, when I say top 5%, I'm not only speaking about the billionaires that I work with and the CEOs that I advise and the people who come to my events. I was in the Johannesburg airport in the domestic arrivals section, and I walked into the men's room, the washroom, the WC, and I heard this voice that says, "Welcome to my office." And there was the janitor with his eyes sparkling, saying, "Welcome to my office." And I looked around and his washroom was impeccable. It was pristine. The details, I call it OAD, obsessive attention to detail, which is the hallmark of all of the great ones. Everything was perfect. And so I interviewed him with my little camera, and I learned, he said, he sees himself as an ambassador to South Africa. You see how your belief system, your mindsets, your mentalities shape your behavior? Your behavior, your daily behavior reflects your deepest beliefs. You want to start to rewire those beliefs if you want to rewire your behavior. And here is a janitor at the Johannesburg airport who works like Picasso painted, who crafts like Kanye writes, who sings like Beyonce bellows, who codes like Woz used to code. All I'm saying is your self-identity determines the extent of your mastery. And here is a quote-unquote janitor, a quote-unquote entry-level person who is bringing on his A game every single day. And so if you really want to own your craft and lift your life, here's something really important to remember. The moment you see your job as your craft and then start doing the work to study, to outlearn everyone around you, to be the heavyweight champion of your industry, you stop worrying about your global economy or your domestic economy, and you start to enter your own personal economy of mastery. My challenge to you is to think about the words of Steve Martin, the great comedian, be so good at what you do that they can't ignore you. My challenge to you with great love and respect, be so great at what you do that we can't take our eyes off you. Be so genius at your game because of your practice and your work versus being busy or being a victim, that when we watch you in action, tears come to our eyes, like tears came to my eyes when I looked up at Michelangelo's ceiling in the Sistine Chapel. okay? And if you're not seeing your work as your craft, then you're not going to work every day and you're not unlocking the value. And we can deconstruct my concept about value unlocking. But here's the simple idea. When you go to work, you're full of potential. If you protect your bandwidth and you protect your potential and you exploit your potential by doing world-class work, then what you do in your marketplace, just imagine a deconstruction or a model. What you do in your marketplace is you take your hidden potential, and because you protect it, you unlock the value. And when you unlock the value, you distribute what I call magic to your stakeholders or your customers and your organization. And if that magic is at very high level because you're very good at what you do, then the marketplace will reward you with income and you will have an impact. And so you'll not only make a lot more money than most people will ever make, but you will also generate massive levels of impact because you're unlocking such value and you're helping so many people. And this is really a formula for building fanatical followers. And as you build a global base of fanatical followers, you become the undisputed heavyweight champion of your world. And this is how you become a titan. This is how you become an icon. This is how you become a legend. Imagine a mental model of it, and imagine studying it and then deconstructing it and learning the rituals and the routines. Well, this is what I've been teaching for 20 plus years, 2 decades. And as you start to get traction in the economy by living like this with consistency until it becomes your way of being, you become undefeatable. You become untouchable. And literally, it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. The global economy doesn't matter. Even if your margins are shrinking in your industry, it doesn't matter. You have an endless stream of clients coming to your door because you're so great at what you do. And you do it not from scarcity, you do it because you love your people. In my work, I love my customers. When you get your membership to Robin Sharma Nation, you'll see ridiculous levels of value, ridiculous craft. You'll see hundreds of insights if you stay with me over the course of many months and years, because Robin Sharma Nation is designed for me to be your private advisor with other like-minded people from around the world, virtually, digitally, every single month over weeks and months and years. And if you only want to be in the program for a month because you want to test it out, absolutely fine. I'm going to earn your respect. I'm going to earn your investment. I'm going to earn the relationship because I've been at personal mastery and leadership and teaching people how to be a titan for many years. I've been working with icons for 2 decades plus. I'm going into my 3rd decade. And I wouldn't be in this field for as long as I've been in this field. I wouldn't have many millions of people following me on Facebook and on my other platforms, all the people that follow me. I mean, literally on Facebook, we're reaching millions of people every single day. And through my live events, like I've mentioned, Personal Mastery Academy. And my point is simply this. I've been in the game as long as I've been in the game because I love the people who I work with. And I serve with a mindset to give people what I call my 10x value obsession. My clients, I give them 10 times the value of their investment in whatever program or whatever my work is, because that's just the way I play. And if you don't want to be in Robin Sharma Nation, or you can check out the mastery sessions, which is my podcast, and millions of people are finding great value there. But if you really want my accelerated learning and you really want exponential improvements in your income and your impact, and you really want to own your field, and you really want to be legendary, and you really want to shift from being busy to being productive, and you want to really dial up your mindset so you bulletproof your confidence, you bulletproof your bravery, you bulletproof your talent, you live your potential so that by the end of your career, the end of your life, you've not only had fortunes of financial, creative, productive, influential impact and created a beautiful life that you and your loved ones love, and you're living this amazing life where you're the undisputed heavyweight champion of what you do, but you've also influenced the world and lived in a way that is full of integrity and meaning and love for humanity. If that's how you want to live, then why wouldn't you get a membership into Robin Sharma Nation and make the money back many times over? And that's why I use the word must, because it's your life. It's all you have. You must do something to work with a coach and an advisor every single month to learn these ideas and then to implement them so they become ways of being. Otherwise, we both know what's going to happen. If you don't have a structure, if you don't have a protocol or a monthly ritual, like working with me in Robin Sharma Nation, then you're going to leave this masterclass with great intention but no execution. In the book I wrote many years ago, Who Will Cry When You Die, there's one line that's touched a lot of people. The smallest of actions is always better than the noblest of intentions. And nothing happens until you act. The hallmark of a titan and a leader and an icon and an A producer. It's less talk, it's more do. It's execution versus chit chat. And I know you can get this done. I believe in you. So let's go to law number 6, which is really an addiction to distraction is the death of your creative production. If all you do is play with your devices, you have every notification on, you check every text message coming in, all you do is check out people on the social media, that's costing you your empire. And the sad thing, and it is sad, I'd say the majority of people out there, they have become so hooked to apps, to social media, they've lost focus. There's actually an article, you can get it online, called The Shallows. And it's about how our brain has become rewired not to be able to spend time reading for an hour anymore. Very few people can sit quietly alone in a room studying or working on a project at work anymore. Most people, the latest research I read, the average employee is spending 50% of their workday in distraction. Think about it. If you don't know how to delete distraction through the protocols that I teach, like the 90-91 rule, or the tight bubble of total focus protocol, or the 0 device days concept, or the dream weeks institution. If you don't know these things and you're allowing yourself to be overstimulated all day long, you can't think. You can't do sweaty work. There's a distinction. There's fake work, which is what the majority do. And if you do fake work all day long, you're not going to get real results. If you don't produce real value, you're not going to get great income or impact. Well, it's not because you couldn't, it's because you didn't do what's required to have the income and the impact. And it all goes back to law number 6, which is an addiction to distraction is the death of creative production. If you're distracted all day long, you're not unlocking the value that will allow you to live a gorgeous life and change the world. So my suggestion to you is make today the day that you start the process of turning off your devices a lot more often. Definitely do not check your social feeds first thing in the morning when your focus and energy is highest. Definitely do not go through email in the morning. Definitely find the time to create what I call tight bubbles of total focus in my work. It's an absolute life shifter. Which brings me to law number 7 of the 11 laws of legends. And law number 7 is one of my favorite, one of the most important laws I can teach you or share with you, which is the job of a leader is to grow more leaders. I'll repeat that again so it starts to become a brain tattoo. The job of a leader is to grow more leaders. You can tell if you're leading, no matter what your job is at work. You can tell if you're leading versus playing a victim by, are you leaving a trail of leaders behind you? By your craft, by your commitment to excellence, by your words, by your mindsets, by your heart sets, by your health set and your energy and your fitness and your stamina and by your soul set. Remember those 4 words I teach in my work? Mindset. And a lot of people are talking about mindset, but what about heart set? If you don't have an open heart, if you're not working with love, if you're toxic, you're not going to be a great leader. But it's not just mindset and a heart set, it's health set, energy, stamina, brain optimization. That's your health. Longevity, like I said, don't die. You know, if you can live longer, if you can extend your life, the secret to legendary is longevity. Imagine how amazing you're going to be when you're 147. Imagine your income. Imagine all the people you can help. Imagine how proud you'll be and how good you'll feel by how great you are. But it's not just mindset and heart set and health set, it's soul set. Remembering, you know what? A bad day for the ego is a great day for the soul. Remembering, you know what? Starve your ego and you'll fuel your spirit. Remembering, you know what? You and I, no matter how long we get to live, we're going to be dust. Like Marcus Aurelius said in Meditations, food for worms. So if that's true, which I believe it to be true, and all the great philosophers confirm it's true, and old people that I interview say it's true, that even the longest life is a short ride, and someone once said, life goes by in a blink. I look at my children, seems like yesterday, they were running to the door every time I'd walk into the house, and now they're older, and now they're adults. And I'm super proud of my children, you know, super proud. But the point is simply this: life is really, really short. And today is the day to be a leader and to build more leaders. And you don't have to have a title to be a leader. I wrote a book called The Leader Who Had No Title. The Leader Who Had No Title. And the key idea is simply this: you can lead without a title. You can lead without a title. I'll repeat that again with great love and respect. You can lead without a title. Because leadership is not something on your business card or the size of your office or your net worth or your place in society. Leadership is it's an approach. All these ideas I've been sharing with you, these 11 laws of legends, these are approaches, these are mentalities, these are ways of being. And you can be, I don't know what you do, you can be a carpenter. Maybe you're a firefighter. Maybe you're a single mother or a single father. Maybe you're a taxi driver. Maybe you're a startup entrepreneur. Maybe you're a billionaire. Maybe you're watching this and you're one of my titans or one of the icons that I work with. Maybe you're an astronaut. One of our clients is NASA. You know, maybe you are a chef. Maybe you are a coder. Maybe you are a baker. Maybe you're a banker. Maybe you're a financier. I don't know what you do. One thing I know for sure, we're going to have people from every walk of life from across the planet watching this masterclass. I just want to say to you, looking at you directly, and yes, I'm speaking to you, the number one way we give away our power is we think we don't have any. And you can lead, and you can have an impact, and you can live a gorgeous life, and you can be a hero in a world that desperately needs heroes. Exactly where you are today. Lead where you are planted. Begin now. One of my brain tattoos that is circulating around the digital arena, around the digital world, is dream big, start small, begin now. Dream big, start small, begin now. And like I've suggested to you, I would love to help you go 100 times deeper in this material and work with you every single month until these ideas become your default settings and until these rituals and routines become your automatic habits every single day, and teach you how to bulletproof your interior core, bulletproof your mindsets, bulletproof your confidence, bulletproof your bravery, bulletproof your talent. So no matter what happens in a volatile world, you're a force of nature in your field. You're a force of nature in your business. You're a force of nature in your career. You're a force of nature on the street. You're a force of nature in a planet that needs heroes. And if that is you, then do yourself a favor and snap up one of the memberships for Robin Sharma Nation. It'll be the best investment you've ever made. It'll be the best investment you've ever made. And I'd love to work with you. I'd love to work with you and help you do this every single month as your personal advisor in a group of other people just like you. You probably think you're different. No one else wants to grow. No one else wants to be great. No one else wants to be happy. No one else is as loving as you, and no one else is generous. No one else smiles. No one else gets up early. No one else loves reading. No one else dislikes the news. No one else wants to dream at world class. You're probably an outlier. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You're probably considered a misfit by most people. You're probably eccentric. Most people look at how I live. It's eccentric. It's different. Because to have the results very few have, you've got to be willing to do what very few people are willing to do. And if that is you, then join me in Robin Sharma Nation with other people who are just like you. You'll have found your home. Okay, bravo. You're still with me. And we're at Law of Legends number 8. And that is simply this. If the world sees you as a failure, but you know you're growing, you're not losing, you're winning. I want you to think about that. If the world sees you as a failure, maybe it's in your relationships, maybe it's in your health, maybe it's in your financial life, maybe it's in your career, maybe it's with your friends, I don't know. A lot of us get labeled as failures. When I stumble, people call me a failure in that area where I stumbled. But I believe failure is nothing more than opportunity in wolf's clothing. And that's law number 8. If the world sees you as a failure, but you know you're growing, well then you're not losing, you're winning. And that's what I want you to recognize and really dial into and then start practicing. Here's a very important psychological insight that comes from the psychologists. It's easier to behave your way into a new way of thinking than think your way into a new way of behaving. See, a lot of us, we learn ideas. I've probably shared, if you really deconstruct and calibrate and dial into the ideas, I've probably shared 200 plus insights so far, if you were to really get granular into this masterclass. So how do you act? How do you live them? You start practicing them. Every day is a practice. Every day is your lab. Every day is your gym. Picasso became great by going to a studio every day. Federer became great by hitting the tennis court every day. Beyonce became great by practicing her singing every single day. Shakespeare became a great writer by crafting every day. Elon Musk became fantastic by practicing in the entrepreneurial arena every day. And it just goes on and on. That's why I suggested to you, people who are living world-class lives, it looks like they're living easy lives, but they lived hard lives because they practiced every single day in a world where people, all they're doing is pursuing pleasure. But the irony is, if you want joy, happiness, fulfillment, it doesn't come from an easy life chasing shiny toys on your devices and being busy. A great life is doing the work. A great life comes from doing work that's meaningful. 20 years of anonymous, if that's what it takes, 30 years, quietly toiling away at your work, at your life, at your game sheets, at your plans, thinking, and then balancing it with select loved ones who inspire you, who get you, who fuel you, friends who honor you, environments that fuel your joy, that are beautiful. And yes, most people don't do that. That's why you're going to be different. And so I just want you to remember that hard times produce great human beings. And here's the real key. as you scale your vision, as you believe in yourself more, as you become more heroic, as you dream bigger dreams, you know, you're gonna fall harder. I was reading an article about James Cameron, and he said, you know, to paraphrase, well, if you have these ridiculously high expectations, you're gonna fall hard, but you're also going to win more than the average person. And I dream huge dreams and I fall all the time. I have failed so much. Michael Dell said it really well. Outfail your competition. And so failure in many ways is the price of greatness. And so don't escape going to the jagged edges of your dreams. Don't escape pushing the limits. That's how you grow. Just run a different philosophy. The victim avoids opportunity. The victim avoids risk. I'm challenging you right now. Live a dangerous life, which is the way all heroes and titans and icons live. Go out to the blue ocean. Walk the green fields of possibility. And when you do that, you're going to stumble in the field. And when you go to the blue ocean of new opportunity, whether it's new opportunity, your next level of skill, or the next level of your business, or the next level of your mentality, or the next level of your love, or the next level of your fitness, when you're out in that blue ocean, we know what's going to happen. Of course you're going to fail. Any new skill, when you push the next level from the plateau, great book called Mastery by George Leonard. From the plateau to the next level, you're going to stumble. Yeah, but that's the price of getting to the next level of your skill. A little baby crawls, falls, eventually walks, falls, runs, tumbles, sprints, masters it, until it becomes subconscious. That's the process of mastery. Any skill. Falling is the price of sprinting. Most people don't think like that. So law number 8 is, remember to use your heartbreak and your failure and your stumbles as stepping stones, your wounds as wisdom, and when you get knocked down, see it as a platform for your next level of interior strength, heroism, and character. Okay, we're getting to the end of the Quantum Elevation Masterclass. We've got 3 laws left. Law number 9 of the 11 Laws of Legends. It's one of my brain tattoos. You've probably seen it on some of the social platforms. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are living it. It's wonderful to see. I'm happy to share it with you. Fasten your seatbelts. Are you really excited? Hope you are. Okay, here we go. I'm just playing with you with a smile on my face because, you know, if you take yourself too seriously, no one's going to take you seriously. But law number 9 is actually very high content. There's a lot of layers to it. Again, if we were to deconstruct it in our more advanced work together, you would see all the different elements of what seems like a very simple law. Here's law number 9 for Legendary. Small daily improvements, when done consistently over time, lead to stunning results. Small, daily, seemingly insignificant, seemingly innocuous, seemingly unimportant little victories, when done consistently over time, lead to stunning results. What you do every day is so much more important than what you do once a year. How you live and construct and execute 24 hours with consistently is much more important than what you do on New Year's Day, when you have great intentions to transform your life and own your game and make history. And so that's why the A players, that's why the super producers understand it's all about owning each day, because your days are your life in miniature. You know, life is like a great life is like a necklace of pearls strung together one day at a time. And so you want to develop a monomaniacal focus and then install the mindsets, the heart sets, the health sets, and the soul sets, and run those each day, along with the few core rituals of A players. There's 10 in particular. And I don't have the time today, or it's not available to me today because I don't want to go too long in this masterclass, but there are 10 core rituals that I teach in my advanced learning that are total life shifters. And the Titans that I work with at the Titan Summit every year, and my Icon X Super Elite Coaching Group, we're meeting in Robben Island in a number of months. I'm going to take them actually inside Nelson Mandela's prison cell. We meet a number of times each year, and we spend 2 days together in these amazing locations across the planet. We were in Barcelona, and then we were in London. We took a helicopter ride over London, and then we've gone to brain optimization clinics, and it's super cool. But here's one thing they all know: the 10 core rituals of super producers. And then they've practiced them for 66 days and then years until these are just their default settings. The point I'm trying to make is simply this. If you were to look at an article in the Harvard Business Review called The Power of Small Wins, you would understand the progress principle. And one of the things all legends have in common is they make little steady progress every single day, which creates momentum. Daily progress, what I call micro wins. It's central. That term is central to the language of my work. I've been teaching it for 2 decades. Micro wins. If you focus on micro wins, what I call 1% wins, with consistency, small wins done consistently over time lead to great results. Micro wins are the secret to transformation. If you improve 1% every day, that's 30% at least after 30 days. That's 100. Imagine that, 30% improvement after 30 days. At the end of 1 year, 365% improvement. Powerful. I'll offer you a quick tactic to wire in every day. Helped a lot of my clients. The Daily 5. 5 micro wins, 5 daily victories. It could be, I'm going to move this key work project forward. I'm going to get up early tomorrow morning. Or let's say, eat a healthy lunch and have a green juice. And I'm going to run Robin's second wind workout protocol by going to a swimming class. And at night, I'm going to have a family dinner without devices. And before I go to sleep, I'm going to download my day and deconstruct it using Robin's deconstruction philosophy in my journal. 5 little wins. They don't take long. At the end of 30 days, that's 150 micro wins. At the end of 1 year, 1,850 micro wins. So 1,850 micro wins at the end of 1 year will lead you to massive confidence. The confidence will raise your game, and the game will unlock ridiculous amounts of energy. And as you keep on repeating the micro win circle or the micro win process by the daily 5 every day, over time with consistency, when it's easy, when it's hard, when it's raining, when it's snowing, when it's sunny, when it's cold, what happens? It's obvious. Over time, you become a legend. Law of legendary number 10. It's a simple one. Nothing fails like success. So the chasm, the pitfall of anyone who becomes successful at any level, it happens almost consistently. And let's go, it's as they become successful, they stop doing the things that made them successful. I'm going to repeat that again because it's so important. And I really want to serve you here in this masterclass. I think it's obvious. You know, as you become successful, whether it's at your fitness, whether it's in your career, whether it's in your love life, whether it's in your spiritual life, whether it's in your financial life, whether it's in the way you treat people out on the streets, and hopefully it's always with love and kind. But here is the pitfall. Here is the thing that happens to the 95% of people who even become super successful. They fall in love with their success. And the psychological term is called hedonic adaptation. This masterclass is not the place for me to deconstruct it and to teach it and to explain it fully. But it's called hedonic adaptation. And here's the metaphor. You get a new car, you're happy for a few days, You love your new car. You're full of serotonin, the pleasure neurotransmitter. You're full of joy until a few weeks later, and it becomes your new normal. And that happens everywhere in your life, in your personal relationships. You fall in love until it becomes taken for granted. In your work, you're full of fire to prove your name because your name is priceless. Warren Buffett said, it could take you 30 years to build your reputation and 30 seconds to lose it. And then what happens? You become successful and you stop doing the very things that made you successful. So law number 10 is nothing fails like success. Here is where the 5%, the top 5% play. And it's so rare because it's so hard to do. But because it's so hard to do, it's sort of easy to do because most people are not doing it. So it's what I call a gargantuan competitive advantage because 95% of your peers will never do this. As you become more successful, be more humble. As you become more successful, be more generous. As you become successful, get up earlier. As you become more successful, iterate your craft even more. As you become more successful, be even kinder to people in your life. As you become successful, learn even more. As you become more successful, be even more polite. As you become more successful, see yourself as a blue-collar laborer, as I do even more, because I'm a blue-collar laborer. That's boots on the ground, serving as many people as possible, reminding people of their heroic instinct, helping people become A players, super producers, titans, icons, history makers. But I'm a blue-collar worker. I give people the inspiration, and then the psychology, then the neurobiology, then the science, then the research, then the daily tools, tactics, mechanics to get traction, because ideas without execution is just an illusion. And nothing matters until you get things done. Okay? So law number 10, it applies to you because you're obviously successful at least in a number of areas of your life. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here with me in this masterclass. And it makes me think of the Roman slave called Auriga. And the Auriga had one job, to stand behind the military general and to whisper, memento homo, memento homo, memento homo, which is Latin for, you're just a man. And the point obviously is to remind that emperor, that military general, boots on the ground, stay human, serve your troops, go to war with them, get up early, stay fit, learn your skills as a military general. The Spartan warrior said it well, sweat more in training, bleed less in war. That's what the slave called Auriga was doing, because nothing fails like success. And then the final law of legendary, 11, which is to double your income and your impact, triple your investment in 2 areas. Your personal mastery, those 4 interior empires, those new words, perhaps to you, that are central to my work and that I've been teaching for many years. Mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set. Personal mastery and your professional capability. I'm going to repeat that again. Maybe it wasn't as clear as I want it to be. But law number 11, to double your income and your impact, triple your investment in 2 core areas, your personal mastery and your professional capability. Your personal mastery, that's the interior life, your mindset. In other words, your belief, your thinking, your heart set. That's your joy, your love versus anger and toxicity and living in the past because you haven't forgiven people and being stuck. And your heart set, which is your energy and your brain being optimized and your longevity and your stamina and being disease-free for the next 100 years. But it's not only mindset and health set and heart, mindset, health set, and soul set, heart set, it's also your soul set. Doing the interior work on personal mastery So literally, you know what? Your ego is so quiet. And there's so much light in you, so much love in you, so much generosity in you. You're not selfish, you're selfless. And it's not because you're weak, it's because you're brave. It's because you're strong. In my quiet moments, I spend so much time in prayer, in meditation, in journaling, taking long walks when I'm not with my loved ones, taking long walks in the wilderness, and just thinking, it's not about ego. It's not about what's in it for me. It's about lifting the craft, living with integrity, living by values, and being generous, kind, and an instrument of service to as many people as possible. It's about a mighty mission bordering on an obsession. And that's what Soul Set is all about. And that's the personal mastery that I'm speaking of and that I would love to help you build. So literally, you battle-proof your interior life so nothing, and I mean nothing, not the economy, not the volatility, not the geopolitical disruption, not the uncertainty, not a difficulty in your personal life, nothing can touch that pristine, world-class interior life. And there are ways to do it. I've been doing it for 20 plus years, and I'd love to help you do it. And then there's the second piece, which is professional capability, which is learning about your craft, learning about your industry, learning about how to build a brand, learning about how to build your career, learning how to be exponentially productive, learning the protocols of the most creative people on the planet and their daily rituals. Those two elements is what law number 11 is all about. It's about learning them, being open to growing and investing in your learning. And if you want to do that, I can think of no better place than Robin Sharma Nation, okay? Robin Sharma Nation. And what I suggest to you with great love and respect, you must give this a try. And I know that sounds strong, and really, if it's not for you, that's fine. But I say must because I don't know you, but I love you. I love your potential. I love your willingness to be here with me. I love your commitment to growth. I love the fact that something deep within you knows you are built for greatness. I love the fact that you want to grow your income. You want to grow your impact. I'm sure you want to live a beautiful life for yourself and your loved ones. I'm sure you want to build confidence. And I'm sure you want to change the world in your own unique way. And if that is you, and I think it is you, then I invite you to get one of the limited memberships to Robin Sharma Nation, because that's what it's all about. I will be your private advisor along with the other people in the group from around the world online, teaching you at a much more accelerated level the insights I've been sharing, how to get personal mastery wired into your way of being, professional education, so you're the heavyweight champion of your world, so you get the income you want, you get the impact you want, the acclaim you want, the life you want, the feelings you want, the happiness you want, so ultimately you become a history maker. If that's you, the information is below. Get off the fence, because as you know, nothing happens until you act. Get one of the memberships. Why? Because I would love to teach you all the things I'm going to teach the people who are already in the program. I would love to serve you. I would love to help you become the hero of your life. I would love to help you do epic things and really be a legend. But nothing happens if you don't change. And have the results very few have? As I mentioned throughout this masterclass, you absolutely must be willing to do what very few people are willing to do. And I use the word must because it's your life. And the days are slipping by really quickly. And no one knows how long we have to live. And few things break a human heart than awesome potential unexpressed. And I know you have a lot of potential. And I really, really, really want to teach you how to live it fully. Not only for yourself and your family, but because the world really does need more heroes, a lot more light, a lot more people lifting their craft and modeling possibility in this world of so much volatility. Thank you so much for your time. I hope I've been of service to you in this masterclass, the Quantum Elevation Masterclass. Watch this again. Deconstruct some of the ideas, study it, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.